So, hello Popdust readers, viewers. We're here today to introduce the fabulous Lainne. Lainne is going to be doing a weekly segment for us, and it's called In Bed with Lainne, because we're in bed with Lainne. And each week, the fabulous Lainne is going to be having a new fabulous lady in bed with her. And she is going to be discussing sensuality, sexuality, women empowerment, you know, what women want between the sheets. So it'll be educational for you guys. Plus you get to see, hopefully, some smoking hot chicks in lingerie in bed together. So what
Everybody
more?
wins.
What more could you really want? Okay, so Lainne, over to you. Why do you want to get in bed with women?
Well, who doesn't want to start that off? But I just think that a conversation really needs to be opened up with women and sensuality, reintegrating sensuality, having some fun, playing a little bit, enjoying being in bed, enjoying ourselves, enjoying our bodies, enjoying engaging with our senses, enjoying pleasure again. We have overlooked sensuality and replaced it with, I don't know if I can say this, I mean I have to edit it.
Yeah,
can
of course.
we say that?
Of course you can say fucking.
That?
We're all adults.
Oh,
We're in bed in lingerie.
Okay.
Two chicks, say what you want.
We've replaced it with fucking. And the intimacy and the connection has been lost. And that is a lot of the fun of what sex is. So let's reintegrate, let's ignite, let's engage sensuality and see how that can transform and elevate our sex lives, increase and explode our romantic experiences and relationships. And also, how does that affect the rest of our lives? Our relationship with other women, our relationship with the environment, our relationship to ourselves. Let's get delicious, let's get decadent, and have some fun.
That sounds amazing to me. Delicious, decadent, and fun. That's like 3 of my favourite words. Maybe if we mix like a bit of sublime in there, but let's drink to that. So just quickly, Lainne, what's your personal definition of sensuality?
Sensuality really means to embody using your senses, and it is expressed throughout your entire being and throughout your entire day. You know, sensuality isn't just what you do in the bedroom. Sensuality is a way of being, a way of becoming. It's something that you get to embrace in laying in bed and choosing whatever it is that makes you feel sexy when you are in bed, whether it's a negligee. I happen to really love lingerie. Whether it's a tank top and shorts, whether it's your sweatpants, like whatever it is that's going to help you express or embody this feeling essentially of confidence, so that the way that you move becomes just a little bit more delicious.
I like delicious.
Yeah. and then you can bring that with you in every activity in life. Really sitting down and enjoying a meal. Like taking the time to appreciate the color and the texture and the smell and what happens when we just pause for a moment in eating a strawberry and appreciating the color and the smell and the texture. And then if we could take that and translate that into the bedroom, what happens when you take a moment to just pause and really like breathe into somebody or breathe them in? Or when you just take an extra second to really get saturated or lost in the touch of somebody's skin. This is what it means to like really awaken your senses, and that's what sensuality means to me.
Well, that sounds pretty good. Why do you think sensuality has been lost for the vast majority of women? Why do you think it has disappeared and it's now just it's all about the sex act. It's all about the hot steamy fuck. But there's in between we've lost that sort of sensuality. Why do you think that's happened?
This is a really interesting question. This is what brought me on this journey is why or how, and that I think just really has a lot to do with the definition of woman. And this has been such an amazing past 30 years really for women, and really getting to redefine what woman is and try on different definitions as we gain more freedom, as we gain a little bit more of a sense of empowerment in the workforce. We're taking on more of this masculine role, which is so awesome in so many ways. But in that, we have overlooked or forgotten a lot of the more feminine characteristics, which is the softness, which is the mystery. And that goes for men and women,
That's what I was going to ask you. It's interesting, because I was going to say to you, do you think sensuality is just a woman's domain, or do you think it's important for men as well?
It is essential for men and women. Whether you're two women, two men, or a man and a woman in bed together, the fact that you both need to be present, you both get to really be in that moment together and appreciate one another. And in appreciation, sensuality is the gateway essentially for appreciation and for connection and for intimacy. And that's what's going to create the most powerful, explosive, mind-blowing sexual connection. And whether that's an experience that's just for one night, or whether that's in a long-lasting relationship, that's ultimately what defines how intense your connection is and how explosive that interaction can be.
Well, let's drink to explosive interactions. Yeah, let's do explosive interactions. And okay, I'm going to ask say I've been in a marriage or a relationship, partnership, whatever, for 20 years. And
congratulations, that's amazing.
You get less time for murder, quite frankly. But let's say you've soldiered on for 20 years in your monogamous relationship. And, it's got to that point now where a lot of people, I'm sure, are aware, who have been in long-term relationships. It's got to that point now where basically, maybe it's once a week if you're lucky. But it almost feels kind of forced. People get caught up in the relationship every day. They may have kids, or they go to work, and you get, that familiarity with each other. How do you, at that point, after 20 years in, and you just have sex, maybe once a week, maybe just on your birthday, or just at Christmas, how do you suddenly reignite that sensuality and sexuality and passion back into a relationship?
A relationship, like anything in life, takes attention and takes effort. But really, I think attention is a better word because it's something that's really important to you, that requires nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
And to spice up any relationship, you have to be present. And what happens with anything that we do for a long period of time is that we file it as this is a routine. It
becomes repetitive and almost on autopilot.
Yeah, almost on autopilot. And that's because we're not being present. And that's, again, where sensuality really becomes a gift, because sensuality allows you or forces you or guides you to becoming present in the moment. So when we decide to turn on or activate our senses and really engage with other people
mm-hmm.
or with our environment mm-hmm. through sensuality, then that automatically turns that presence back on into you, gets you out of your head and your to-do list,
mm-hmm.
And into the magic of the moment. So really,
Out of the laundry into the hot sacks. And
out of the
sensual
laundry.
hot sacks. I mean, who doesn't want that? Like, sod the wife fronts. Like, seriously, I'm heading to bed. Or the kitchen counter.
Or the kitchen floor.
Or the living room floor. Or, you know, wherever, just not the laundry room. Actually, in the laundry room. We're just not doing the laundry.
That's going to make laundry more interesting, right?
Okay, so.
Yay to laundry day.
There you go. So forget the birthday. It's going to be every laundry day now. And that laundry needs doing pretty much 3 times a day, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so what are you going to be doing each week? You're going to be meeting with a different woman each week, and what are you going to be doing? Well, what's the aim of it, and what do you hope to get out of it for yourself and also for them and for anyone who wants to watch and learn?
Fun, first and foremost. I mean,
Fun's
I get
good.
to do what I love to do, which is hang out in bed with really hot people. Women, men, whatever. You're attractive, and I get to be in bed with you. Check. Awesome day. And I love engaging my senses. So whether I get to wear something that brings out a little bit more of the soft or curious side of me, yes, check. Just opening up the platform for conversation that we get to now. We get to have this conversation because it's really important. Most people now are feeling really frustrated, really alone, really confused. And we have this disposable attitude about most things. And let's look at that, and let's look at how we can move through that in a little bit of a healthier, more playful way. Because we're certainly too often in our heads and not enough in our hearts. And when I say heart, I don't just mean love. But I do also mean love, because love is a beautiful, wonderful thing.
Makes the world go round.
I also mean that sense of play, like connecting to when you were a kid and everything was fun, and there was a sense of wonder and curiosity. Let's heal our relationships with ourselves, with our bodies, with our friends, as our connection, or to our connection to being a woman. Let's ignite our sex lives. Let's have some really mind-blowing, memorable, earth-shaking sex.
Once again, I got a drink to that. This is turning into a drinking game. I'm going to be really drunk at the end of this.
And let's be more aware of what's going on in our environment. You know, what are we putting into our bodies? What is our relationship with food? What is our relationship with our children, our animals, the earth? I mean, all of that really comes back to sensuality, because how we experience the world is through our senses. It's how we experience everything. So let's have more magic and more miracles and more play.
That sounds really good. So, just finally, I wanted to ask you, just out of interest, how, I know the answer to this, but I want you to express it because you do it better than my answer in my head. How important is it that women have self-confidence in themselves and in their bodies to be able to express any form of sensuality? Because women obviously, you know, we're constantly told we're too fat, or we're too thin, or we're too flat-chested, or we're too old, or we're too young, or, you know, our hair's dark instead of blonde. We're always feeling we don't live up to this standard. And even if, you know, you're Cindy Crawford, someone's saying, oh,
Yeah.
she's got that mole. You know, it's crazy. We're always being criticised for how we look and how we talk and what we do. How do you want to address that with women, I guess? How important is it that women feel amazing, and how do they feel amazing if they are 20 pounds overweight, 50 pounds overweight?
Yeah, that's a really great question and a really important thing to look at. Your sense of confidence that really comes from within, and I know definitely we're bombarded by images of this is what sexy is, this is what beautiful is, this is what desirable is, but that is really untrue. So how important is it to be confident? It's the most important thing. And confidence comes from accepting and loving yourself. And how do we do that? Through sensuality. We learn appreciation for our bodies. Our bodies are amazing gifts. It's like trillions of cells in here, all working in tandem to create the awesomeness that is you. And everything is beautiful. You are beautiful just the way you are.
Well, thank you.
You're and thank God that we have so many different, colors and shapes and sizes.
Couldn't agree more.
Because that is we gravitate to something that is that different than us.
Yeah.
And skinny or lean can be sexy. Athletic can be sexy. Voluptuous can be sexy. Soft can be sexy. Sexy comes from the inside out. It is a way of being. It is a feeling that you express and you radiate. And it does not matter what your shape, what your size, what your color is. You walk into the room and you own it because it's just radiating from the inside out. And you can have that. And we all can have that by just learning to love ourselves and connect to our senses.
I mean, because this is the crazy thing. We're told now, it's not so much now, but I remember about 5-10 years ago, everyone was told that, the look, especially in LA, the look is rail thin, almost looking like a little boy, but with huge, great fake tits. Like absolute size 0 with huge tits. And, that's what we were told the ideal was. Mm-hmm. And yet, I don't know who didn't inform men on this, because although men outwardly obviously would go with what society says, you read at the time, you read these surveys, and it would still be people like Marilyn Monroe who would come out as like the most attractive woman, or Sophia Loren, like these real women. But we were told by the media that men wanted basically little boys with huge fake tits. So it was just this kind of strangeness to me. And I know that a lot of men will go along with that society. I know guys, I'm not mentioning any names, but you're okay, Simon. But I know guys that will only date publicly. I mean, he lives in Hollywood, he's in the business. Will only date, these skinny as hell, like little wannabe actresses with big fake tits. But he wants to have sex with actually big girls. And I'm not even saying like voluptuous, I'm saying big girls. But he would never dream of dating those big girls because of the backlash that he would get from society, from his friends. And so it's just, it's that kind of weird like quandary. And it's just like, really? Like we've got to just have people in public that society puts a stamp on. I mean, I find that's kind of sad. It's almost like a sort of closeted gay man, but it's a closeted,
that's a really good
fat
analogy.
woman appreciating man.
Yeah.
It's like, it's terrible. It's sad, I think.
Well, that has a lot to do with what you're feeling, your sense of self-worth.
Right.
And how much image is important to
Right.
you.
That's, yeah.
So we can choose to buy into that or not. I mean, what society or what the media decides is attractive or unattractive, guess what? We're the consumer. We can buy into that or not. The choice is up to you. This is the media is a marketing selling machine. They're trying to sell you something because that's how they make money. And yeah, you can buy into it or not. I mean, first and foremost, you got to take care of yourself.
Right.
Exercise your body, take care of your heart and your mind, eat things that are healthy for you. And at the end of the day, when you're doing all of those things, whatever shape, whatever size you are, that's just perfect. And we need all of that different variety, and we are all of that different variety. And there's always going to be a standard. I mean, if we look throughout history, the standard of beauty has shifted throughout the ages.
There was the Rubenesque, back in the day. And then in the 20s, there was the stick, skinny, flat-chested.
Yes.
Yeah, it changes.
So it changes, but that doesn't define beauty across the board for everyone. That's just what the marketing machine has decided for that time, and it gives everybody throughout history, a space and time to stand on the stage. But how important that is depends on you and how you feel about yourself. and where your confidence is.
Yeah, I mean that's on the whole that societal norm is created by men.
Yes.
So it's time for women to start empowering themselves more. You, women, empower yourselves more and say, like, I'm beautiful too, you know?
Yes.
I'm beautiful too. I'm 45. I'm still beautiful. I'm still viable.
Created
you know?
by men, but also supported. And is it created by men anymore? I don't think that it is. I think it's created by men and women.
True.
Because it's also supported by men and women. Because
True.
here we have this man, as your example, saying, you know, dating somebody that he thinks on the outside is going to be acceptable, but really being attracted to and longing for something different.
Right.
So, you know, he's perpetuating this stigma, but we also perpetuate that by the things that we buy, and by the words that we choose, and by comparing ourselves and saying that we're not enough somehow because we don't look exactly like whatever the standard is. So we get to stop having that conversation, and we get to love ourselves and respect ourselves and put ourselves up on this amazing pedestal and honor ourselves just the way that we are. And then we express sexuality.
Oh, well, definitely.
Sensuality.
Okay, so finally, I just want to ask, I'm guessing this is what you're going to be asking the lucky ladies and maybe gentlemen that you get into bed with in the future, every Monday. What are you like doing in bed? What's great sex to you, and what can that entail? Let's get some.
Well, great
tips.
sex doesn't necessarily have to start in bed.
True. Of course not.
The best sex for me ultimately is just getting lost in the moment, when time and space no longer exist, because you are just there with that person and creating erotic, delicious magic. You know, when you get lost in the smells and the sounds and the tastes and the touching and the yearning and the longing for more, that's the most beautiful experience to me. And that happens when I am feeling the sexiest possible. When I am present in the moment, not in my head, not in a to-do list, but really present in my body and feeling the way that it feels when everything is engaged and turned on, when I feel my heart start to race and my cheeks start to flush and the blood rushing to all the appropriate parts. And my hands just come alive. They're like tingling, and every touch just has this like decadent sensation. When you can take yourself to that place, and it's really easy. It's a choice. It's a choice to get out of your head and into your body and into your senses, and embody and embrace all of those varying sensations. That, no matter if it's in the bed, over the counter, in the car, against the wall, doesn't matter where you are, you're taking that experience and you're getting lost in it, or you're owning it, actually is more appropriate. You're owning that experience.
Amen to that, my sister. Okay, Mondays, get in bed with Lainne. Okay? Mondays, Popdust, get in bed with Lainne. Okay. Goodbye. Let's kiss.